Well, next tonight, the row over the use of the word reliable in a job advert.
A recruitment agency was astonished when the job centre at Thetford in Norfolk said the wording of an ad for a hospital cleaner was inappropriate.
Well, tonight, the job centre admitted they had made a mistake. But it seems there are plenty of other phrases and words that can't be used when advertising jobs. Claire McGlasson has more.
It was an advert amongst dozens of others. Pay, £5.80 an hour. Responsibilities, cleaning at a hospital in Bury St Edmunds. This ad, posted in Thetford's Job Centre Plus, said applicants must be fluent in English and have previous experience. But there was one word that caused a problem: reliable, because it discriminated against the unreliable. Recruitment boss Nicole Mamo from Borehamwood in Hertfordshire placed the advert. She was stunned by the response.
I called the job centre in Thetford and I spoke to a lady and I said to her, "Can you make sure it's got hard-working and reliable?" And she said, "Oh no, we can't do that. It may discriminate against the unreliable." And that's when I thought, sorry, and I said to her, "That's crazy. I don't want unreliable staff, and if I'm discriminative against the unreliable, then I'm happy to be."
Under employment law, there are many words and phrases that are a no-go for job adverts because they could be seen to discriminate. Enthusiastic, dynamic, flexible and lively are all out. They suggest young applicants, as are reflective or with boardroom presence, which may imply the more mature employee. But interestingly, in some cases, businesses can be very specific. A Chinese restaurant could insist on Chinese waiting staff, or a lingerie shop, a female bra fitter.
The job centre are particularly stringent on what they will and won't allow you to say, but it's becoming harder and harder to put anything meaningful in an advert that allows you to identify suitable and unsuitable applicants.
It turns out the word reliable was a false alarm. Job Centre Plus admitted any concerns were a genuine mistake. The Department for Work and Pensions said the original advert had run in full on the Job Centre Plus website and in branches. In a statement, they said, "Reliability is important to employees and we welcome ads seeking reliable applicants." Nicole Mamo insists she'll continue to advertise for reliable staff. And it's not putting people off. 27 reliable cleaners have applied for the hospital job already. Claire McGlasson, Anglia News, Thetford.
Well, we try and be reliable, don't we? And
We
enthusiastic.
do try, very enthusiastic.
Yeah, I'm not sure how flexible I am. That's an age thing, definitely.
Now, it's 13 minutes past 6. You're watching Anglia Tonight.
And at 6:30, we're going to hand you over to... Well, more news now from where you live, and more than 40 firefighters have been tackling a fire at a large food hall in Suffolk.
The barn at Worsted, on the outskirts of Ipswich, provides an outlet for local food producers. Investigations are still continuing into the cause tonight, as Laura Burns now reports.
For food hall staff, the clean-up has only just begun. Much of their stock simply destined for the bins after a large fire broke out in the early hours. It was discovered by a baker arriving to work, and when fire crews arrived, the building was totally smoke-logged. The blaze had started in a storeroom and centred on the roof. Officers had to work rapidly to keep it under control.
Our concern was that the fire could get into the panels themselves and then pass through undetected through the lamination and take the whole roof out. In effect, on this occasion, though, the actual integrity of the sandwich panelling has totally held up and in actual fact has suppressed the fire from spreading, and we were able to contain the fire to the room of origin.
It's some consolation for the company's director, who's busy counting the costs of the damage. Today should have been a day for celebration, after the food hall won a national award for Best On-Farm Butchery last night.
Fantastic news, and all credit to all the guys who work in the butchery. And then this morning this happens, and it's a real shame. Obviously we're going to try and salvage what we can, but anything with any sort of taint on it will sadly have to be discarded.
Cleaning up and clearing out looks set to take a while, but it's hoped the food hall will be back up and running by Friday. Laura Burns, Anglia News.
Apologies for the tone on that report as well. Now, the North Norfolk MP Norman Lamb wants to tighten rules on employing foreign doctors after a German locum killed a 70-year-old man from Cambridgeshire with an accidental overdose. David Gray from Maney died after being given 10 times the safe dose of diamorphine by Dr Daniel Labani. The Liberal Democrats are calling for a series of reforms, including a test to check their language and training is fully competent.
Because of weaknesses in the rules that exist at the moment, sometimes that level of competence isn't there, and that isn't acceptable. I'm sure everyone would agree that patient safety is paramount, and we must ensure also that when a doctor is suspended by any regulator anywhere in Europe, that suspension must apply across the whole of Europe.
Plans to enhance the reputation of Norwich as an international centre of scientific excellence and create thousands of new jobs have received a £5 million funding boost. 30 laboratories and offices for 300 scientists are being built on land at the Norwich Research Park at Colney. £1.4 million is coming from the East of England Development Agency.
Norwich Research Park is a global leader in food, health and environmental sciences. The future prosperity of the region of the East of England will depend on the continued success of the knowledge-based industries such as these.
Now then, using public toilets might not be high on your list of priorities, but to add insult to injury, there seems to be a bit of loo discrimination going on in Sudbury.
Yes, that's because women there face a charge while the men can use them for free. Lorna Ramsey reports.
There are plenty of places to spend your money in Sudbury town centre, but when you need to spend a penny, the choices are limited. There are 3 sets of public toilets here, but women may want to think twice before using this one at Jail Lane. 20 pence is how much women have to spend to use these toilets, but for men, it's absolutely free, unless they use a cubicle.
I think it's totally unfair and sexist. We're meant to be equal in this society, and yet we have to pay. How's that fair?
It's outrageous. I think the whole thing should be free. They're pokey little toilets. They're due to be rebuilt anyway. They're the only facility in town, and they should be free for everybody.
Do you think it's fair?
No. No, not really. No. Men get away with everything, don't they?
Baber District Council turned down our request for an interview on this subject, but they did release a statement pointing out that men are charged in the same way as women for using the cubicles, but the urinals are free. They also said that all the 20p's go towards the toilet's running costs and for paying for things like toilet rolls. But the council is being urged to change the charges if it wants both men and women to feel equally welcome in Sudbury. Lorna Ramsey, Anglia News, Sudbury.
Now, people in a Suffolk town whose lives have been made a misery by a colony of gulls have drawn up plans to rid themselves of the menace. The gulls gather at a derelict factory at Beccles, but neighbours are now planning to put up special strings to stop gulls from landing on the site.
Football now, and it was so near yet so far for Ipswich at home to West Brom last night. A Grant Ledbetter penalty seemed to have given Town the win against the high-flying Baggies, but deep into injury time, Chris Blunt equalised, so yet another draw for Norwich, or even for Ipswich, rather. Norwich City, they are now 3 points clear at the top of League One. Chris Martin equalised after Walsall had taken the lead. Then, in the closing stages, there was a bit of a neat volley. We're going to see that from substitute Cody MacDonald to keep their winning run going. There it is. And Colchester, they're 4th in League One. Kevin Lisby got their opener against the MK Dons. Then in the second half, a brilliant strike from new boy David Pruton. That sealed a 2-0 win.